We're live. Hey, morena, kia ora, my name's Andy, co-founder of Monarchy, and I've got two people with me this morning. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm Jace, T-Crypto, welcome. Yep. Awesome to have
guys.
you.
Thanks.
Is that for the Tongan in crypto? What does that mean, bro?
Yeah, it's all the cryptocurrency. So I bought thecryptocurrency.com back in 2014. So when I went to sign up on Twitter, I think 2017, I tried to put it in, but it was the cryptocurrency is too long. So I was like, okay, so I'll do T cryptocurrency.
I thought that stood for Tongan crypto.
Yeah. It should be yeah. It's a good one actually. I think I should change it to that.
Let's go.
Yeah, it means Tongan crypto.
Yeah, because you are Tongan, right?
Yes, yeah, half Tongan. So my mum's full Tongan, and I'm half Tongan and European. So I lived there for I lived in Tonga for 3 years when I was younger. So I was quite naughty. So the mother was like, "That's it, we're sending you to Tonga." So I went to boarding school, to Bow College, 1,100 boys. It's like pretty crazy. It's like concentration camp. So once you come out of it, once you come out of it, you're so grateful for life. So everyone's like, "Why am I so happy?" Because when you live in a place and you've had nothing, right, and you come out, you're so grateful for what you have.
But it shaped you, right?
Oh, definitely.
So are you sending your kids there?
No. No way, man. No. There's the
No. Hey, Pinto, Pat, welcome, Pat.
Yeah, good introduction. I was wondering if the interview had just started.
Hey, so it's actually a momentous day, right? Because it's the day after the merge.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big moment. And we've been doing these talks. Dougal, another whale in the fluff ecosystem, said, "Got to talk to you." And so it's awesome. It was great to catch up with you recently, but I needed some credibility this morning, so I bought.
Oh, nice.
I bought Pat.
Yeah.
Because he can actually translate what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
And actually,
Not from Tongan.
Was it like Tongan English or
No.
trading the crypto and NFTs?
So we just set it up, right? So you got a day job.
Yes.
In a medical importation.
J.A. Davey,
J.A.
for
Davey.
Australian company.
And you're in crypto.
Yep.
For about the last 7 years.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, since 2014.
And you got a couple of NFTs.
Yeah, got
a lot.
A handful of NFTs.
Come on, bro. Dock yourself. How
many
many you got? What you got?
In total, NFTs?
Yeah.
5,200, I think.
5,200?
Yeah. But that's, so some of them are not that valuable.
How many in your hidden folder?
Yeah, probably about 600, I think. They send you a lot.
That's a good ratio.
They send you a lot of rubbish. Yeah. So, but yeah. No.
Can I just say what the fuck? I can't get my head around that number. It's pretty. I'm kind of like, why? Why so many?
I think when it comes to art, and people collect art for various reasons, and for the monetary value of it. I just think that because I got into NFTs before people were already doing NFTs. I didn't buy the CryptoPunks at the time.
Do you regret that?
No, well, yeah. In hindsight, you can always regret sort of things, but you focus on what you've got now, and I think that's what really matters.
Yeah. Was that your entry point into the market when CryptoPunks was that when it was minting or?
Yeah, no, it was always sitting around. I think CryptoPunks, they actually forked it into something else so that they could be minted, but people were buying them. They're giving away for free. 10,000 ages ago, and then you buy them for $20, and then it slowly crept up in 2017, 2021. So NFTs never really took off until 2021.
Yeah.
But I believed in if digital art, most wealthy people in the world, they'll collect art. And I think this new digital realm we're in now, I think the beginning of NFTs in the future with the younger generation where they play Fortnite and Roblox, they're all digital. They don't care about the real stuff. It's digital. And so as you go ahead in the future, 10, 20 years from now, these NFTs, this is the very beginning of something that's new. I think they'll be extremely valuable in the future.
Wow.
And it's something to be fun to be part of.
So 5,000. Look, if you went ahead 10.
Oh, look, I haven't.
But if you went ahead 10 years.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to have 50,000?
No, not at all. Like I think as it goes, I think maybe 2-3 years from now, the value of an NFT will not be that high. Some of them will have their values like like I see it back there, your X copy, your CryptoPunk. There'll be certain they're called blue chip, Bored Apes, even Fluff World. I think they'll probably be amongst some of them as well. They'll maintain huge value because they'll be new, innovative something people will collect, and specific one-on-one artists at the moment will have huge value, but then the rest, it'll become just like a digital thing that you buy and trade and sell in gaming and stuff like that as well.
Do you think that the the reset that's happened in the market recently is good for the NFT space?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like the innovation of anything, or the .com sort of boom and bust is like, right now, and I love the bear market, because when the market's really quiet, the real companies, the real artists stick around, they start building their community. You see where where the innovation's happening and where they're going, and this is the true test now of you'll see where they go. And
like in the VC startup world, the funds investing in times like this, they make the best returns.
Oh, definitely.
Because at the bottom, they have their thesis and hypothesis, and they go in. It's quite interesting how it's similar. But the majority of people are shit scared. And the volume's down, and the volume being traded, and I know this because Pat showed me a chart yesterday. But the number of additions or collections are coming out are crazy, right? Where do you get all that data from?
Into the Block, they're really good. You probably follow them, but that data's crazy right now. We've got, it was the previous all-time high of collections launching in one day was 1,200 back in January. In the last month, there have been 9 days and 6 weeks that were all over 1,000, 3 consecutive all-time highs, peaking out at 3,000 collections launched in one day in this market. And then people look at the value of even the blue chip collections. They go, why are they going down? Because the whole space has just been diluted to buggery by the launch of these people that saw the boom, came late, here now, party's over, only the skerricks remain. And it's a completely different picture. So
here's a good question for both of you. If we just think about people who are thinking about doing an NFT, right? And let's say they've got in their team, they've got the smart contracts, they've got the artists, in a market that is so tough, what do they have to get right? Because not everyone is a Aaron McDonald or a David McDonald, right? Or a Brooke Howard Smith. I've got some alpha for Brooke, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, which is cool, so we'll talk about that shortly.
Good guy, Brooke. I like Brooke. Hey, great thing about Brooke is he keeps he's really down to earth. So those that who are not into NFTs will have an understanding of how it all works. He gives it that real simplistic understanding of what they do and stuff like that. So he's been really good for Fluff World.
Are you a pro on these things? Because your mic is is that going to be making funny sound?
Nah, see, this is kind of like a windsock, so it doesn't do anything.
Okay, so thinking about ranging. The question is, what do you have to get right to have a successful launch in this market? Both of you. What do you think?
I can take it. I think
he's the guest. He should answer.
I think the best thing you've got to build your community. You got to have the people that like your art and stuff like that. You've got to speak with them and show them what you're doing. Create your social platform and use that and start sharing what you're about to create. Don't just go on and create something and put it out straight away, even though your art's really good, because you'll be deflated because the market's saturated. So. Work with other artists, do things together, or things like with Fluff World. It depends on who's out in the industry, but find those who are really good collectors or top collectors and have a good reputation within the industry. Share with them your art. If they don't like it, share with other people. Build up. Do Twitter Spaces all the time. Slowly build that up, and then once you've got a pretty decent community, you only need 50 people or 20 people to really like your art, and you can make a decent income. And you can give utility, access to what you're doing, and just grow it organically. You've got to be patient. The thing is, what's happened is that since NFTs come out, Bored Apes is one of the fastest growing multi-billion-dollar industries from the NFTs. It grew so quickly, but not everything is a Bored Ape or CryptoPunk or even Fluff World's done really well. You've got it, and I think that's what a lot of artists are going and seeing. They go, oh my gosh, we can create this art, we can sell it, and people are saying you can make this money, you can do extremely well, but you've got to get your foundation right first now, and because the market's saturated, you've got to build that community, and then work with those that know the industry pretty well, and then launch.
Paddy, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with the sentiment around community. Utility, the market, when it returns, is not going to be the same as before.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to, sell out and make a big bag just off a PFP project.
Yep.
You need real utility that begins to consider how you can utilize the fundamental tech that sits under NFTs in a way that's going to deliver unique value to your holders. And absolutely, you need to take them on the journey with you. Community is the thing that you can do right now.
Well, what I was going to say though is, do you think that creates a really high bar around a barrier to entry? Because I don't think, building community is really important, critical, right? Like you've both said, it's not hard for people to do that, right? If you work it, and you work it hard, but if you're trying to add utility to your range, you're starting to get into a level of complexity and coding and capability that just not everyone can do. I mean, I look at what the guys are doing at Altered State Machine, and I just go, far out. That's complex.
Yeah, but that's next level of utility in gaming and the way they're doing things with artificial intelligence with NFT artists. All they need to do is basically if you hold one piece of my art, then that gives you access to them. They can do some, they can send out utility is they can send them out real life pieces if you hold this. They can find and look at other projects that are doing really well, like Altered State Machine or Fluff World or a Bored Ape, get them to draw some art, someone's like PFP, and send it to them, say, hey man, this is cool, I created, you can build things like that, and then it brings more people. So, money flows where the traffic goes, right? So
money flows where the traffic goes.
Yeah, basically. So
cool.
and it's always been this sort of saying that I've always believed in, is because
money stays where the traffic parks up.
Yeah, but if
that's the thing in this market, mate. The traffic will come and the traffic will go.
Yeah,
but if you can get the traffic to stay and park up, then you got something. That's what Futureverse have done. That's what Fluff have done. All those guys have done. They're going to park up and stay.
Because the creative thing that adds value to the holders, and you feel part not only of the community and meeting people in real life. It's great. I've got to meet Brooke, and Dougal's a great guy, and Chad T-Lotta, she's amazing. So T-Lotta, that's the thing. She's a tech genius. She's probably in her 50s, but there's a lot of
Did you just dox her out on her
age?
I
don't know. She's probably in her late 40s. But she's absolutely amazing. But the community in Fluff World is amazing. There's a lot of women in there too. So
totally.
Compared to a lot of the crypto is very
sausage fest.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, Bored Ape's a sausage fest, right? But it's
big time.
You got kids?
Yeah.
How many?
I've got 3 kids. So I've got a 16-year-old boy, a 6.5-year-old boy, and a 2.5 girl.
Is Bored Apes a Frankfurter fest?
Yeah, I'd say so. But what they've done is amazing, and it doesn't matter even if it is, and there's a whole bunch of guys and men in there, and the value's gone up, they've done an amazing job. That's great for innovation, and then these other things have got World of Women, which is crypto, which is great, lady artists, and they've done this thing, and it's good to see women in the space too. Now,
I don't know whether this is publicly known or not, but you were a major giver to the Auckland City Mission donation through the Fluff ecosystem, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Right. All right.
It's but I suppose my question for you is, have you always been generous and donated to charity, or is it only when you became a whale that you said, I'm going to start doing it?
Yeah, I think I've always been someone that's always been giving, and I think it's just, I lived in Tonga for 3 years. The island community, they give too much, and I used to do that too, and I learned over the years to give when you're in a position to give. But I've always been someone that's gone out the way to help people if they need help, if they come to me. It's just, I don't know, it just feels good when you can help somebody out and not have any expectations in return.
It's pretty amazing.
And in Auckland City Mission, we minted borrows that day. So Fluff World, if you held a fluff, you could mint a borrow for 0.22 ETH. So we're on holiday up north. I minted, I can't remember, maybe 120 borrows that day. But the floor at the time was about 4 ETH. So that's probably about $20,000 in New Zealand, I think. And then I just heard that day that, hey, they're going to do something for Auckland City Mission. And so when I was young, my father separated from my mum, and so we were really poor. So I knew what it was like to actually struggle and go through hard times. And we probably had about 8 people, Tongans, come and live with us, and they all helped each other out. But it was so yeah, they did a charity auction. I think there was 7 fluffs that they put up, and so I quickly sold, I think about, earlier on, maybe 10 borrows. So I had, and then I put in a bid for 29 ETH for the first fluff. So mine was the first fluff that sold. And then, and it was just nice. So I think that was about $140,000 at the time, New Zealand.
Yeah, I was going to say, 29 ETH, that's a major amount of money.
But that is what I loved about Fluff World, right? Is that, not only was it like a bullish time at that time for the value of your NFTs that you're holding, but they created things to give back. And what's the point of having something and making money in the digital world if you can't look after those in the real world? And that was something really special that they all did. And
have you got enough money?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you worry about what your kids will do with it? Or the pressure that might come to them?
Yeah,
or they're too young?
Yeah, I think they're too young at the moment. But yeah, I think, so my father's severe dyslexic, so he can't read and write. We've just realised that our younger son, he's sort of similar. So I think our concerns more at the moment is getting him into the right schools and doing the right things to build that confidence. Because if you have confidence, and that's why I got sent to Tongans as a kid, because I couldn't read and write that well. And so I was playing up, hanging around kids, because it was like you didn't know how to fit in school that well. And so with us, you always think of something different. There's other problems that you have to try and solve, and it's not always about money. I haven't always had a lot of money. Since I've been into crypto, I've done it very well. But I did, when I first started this job many years ago, I wasn't making budget, so I was trying to figure out how can I make some money. So I do domain names, and I got into like 10 grand over debt. Got married, wife found out, we almost got divorced. My mates came and helped me out.
Are you still married?
Yeah, still married. So when I was
under probation.
Yeah. But I managed to get out. But I learned at the time, and I was always quite giving as well. And my wife, she did say something. It's like, look, I know that you like to help other people out and do all these things as well, but get yourself into that position where you can financially be in a good position. Then you can really go out and help others. But if you put yourself in a position where you're straining and mentally you're giving away so much that they feel and they figure out that, hey, look, you're helping them out, but then you're putting that strain yourself, then you're not helping anybody.
Can I ask about your pattern of entry into crypto? Because we've got a market reset essentially now, right?
Yep.
And so I know a lot of people in our communities, particularly Indigenous people, like yourself, look at it, they see the opportunity, they're not quite sure on the pattern of how to get in. And then so consequently, a lot of people got in on the back end of the last bull run, right at the back end, didn't really understand what they were doing, probably held some stuff that they should have sold, market dip, stuff is worth a fraction of what it was worth. But now, we are where we are. And I think people could learn a lot from how you entered crypto, then went into NFTs.
Yeah.
Because probably, the market's volatile, but taking away the external sort of macroeconomic factors. What are the patterns and the things that you adopted when you first came in that enabled you to initially get that traction and then eventually build some wealth in crypto, and now this huge number of NFTs that you hold?
Yeah, so many years ago, back in 2014, I registered accountanthub.com, and then someone offered me a Bitcoin for it, because I had a whole bunch of...
That's a great story.
Bitcoin was only worth like $300, so at the time I was like, sure, I accepted it. So nothing really happened with that Bitcoin, but once you own a Bitcoin, it takes you down the rabbit hole to learn all about, okay, why is Bitcoin created, the whole financial system and all that sort of stuff. And then come along, nothing really happened until like 2017. The ICO market came out with Ethereum. So I sold Bitcoin for Ethereum, and there are certain projects that you could So what you could do back then, anybody around the world could use Ethereum and get into companies before they launched. And so I got into Icon, OneChain. There's a few interoperability ones. And so they did extremely well. So I bought some at 11 cents, went to $8 US.
Were you curious?
Always curious.
So you were curious about this, and then you started acting.
Yeah, and at the time, it's like one thing, if you followed Bitcoin for many years, or even Ethereum, is that the smartest people in the world are all moving into crypto. And I noticed that, I think around about 2017, like being an entrepreneur, like you had Instagram, it was like a cool thing to be as an entrepreneur, and you heard all those things back in the real world. But all the smart people who were building stuff were moving slowly into like building technology in Ethereum and and Bitcoin. I knew something was definitely there, and that's from being in domain. So when you buy and trade domain names, it's like you're always trying to figure out what's the next thing. Is it VR, augmented reality, or AI? So it took me all down that into 2017. I went to those. They did really well. Then the crash happened. So at the time, 5 million turned into 2 million. It dropped down to about 200,000. I invested some that rug pulls. 2018 to 2020 was a very bear market, like very sort of quiet type time. And that's when you really look into, when you've had all this money and you lost all this money, you start really looking deep and diving into the projects that you really think are doing something. And so this is what I'm sharing with people now at the moment, is that you've got Cardano that's gone down in price, or Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Chain. Certain projects now that are building, that's been up the market, down the market, is the perfect opportunity to buy a little bit and hold it, because in the next 2 years, they're going to do extremely well. And the crypto market will make better returns. Not financial advice, but it'll make a way. So say if you have a company, right, and you got shares, and you created this company, you get excited if your shares make double, triple within 3 years, and that never happens. It's really hard to make profit. If you hold Ethereum, I would put $10,000 bet on anyone if the majority of, like, if someone had a startup company, that Ethereum or a Bitcoin will outperform their company in the next 2 years, unless it's a startup company.
And what was it that you saw then, and when did you really jump in to NFTs? One more question after this, then back to you.
No, mate, it's all good.
I jumped into NFTs, I think, end of 2020. And I just knew, and I just there was something about digital art that I knew it was something
really blowing up.
No, and it was something new, and it was a new realm of art, and I was like, man, the really wealthy people in the world, like billionaires, if they collect art and then they hide it away and all that sort of stuff, but that it's a store of wealth in some sort of way. And I thought, man, there must be certain artists that, and this is the beginning, maybe eventually you'll have, because the ideal is to buy some decent NFTs so I can hold it. So eventually in the future I can have it, pass it on to my kids, and they're financially set as well.
But when you started looking, how long did it take you before you acted?
Probably about 6 months.
So you sniffed around for 6 months?
Yeah.
And what was the first NFT you bought?
Yeah, I was trying to think that. I was thinking that the other day. I think it's Jose. I think it was it's called Death by Jose Delbo. And so Jose Delbo, he's about, I think, maybe 90 now, but he is an actual he's an artist. He's a comic. And he's worked on like Batman, Superwoman, all these things throughout the years. And Death was the first. People probably don't know this, but if you look at it, it's on Maker's Place. But if you look at it's the very first comic that was created on Ethereum. He actually created the whole comic book and he put it out, and it's his own character that he's always wanted to do something. And he's still alive. He's about 90.
Wow.
And he worked on like Superwoman, Superman back in the day, all these things. Cool. So Jose Delbo, look him up.
And so what is so you got 5,000 NFTs. What's your investment thesis? Like, how do you approach investment in this space? Because if you're holding 5,200, I can't even begin to imagine how many you've bought and sold.
So What I've done, because I've been through the bull and bear market.
Yeah, which is rare. Like, it's rare to get somebody that can come on and talk about.
And I was very fortunate to, we're in this private group from the guy called Coach K, his name's Joel. And we got into this pre-sale called Eternity. So they did NFTs. So I bought it for like 29 cents, around to $70. So what I did during that bull market, right, is that I used those profits to see what I wanted to buy in the NFT industry. And so people were calling me, even when I was buying NFTs, people were like questioning, like, that's just stupid, like what a waste of money. So I was buying then, so I was taking profits from what I earned into the NFTs because I didn't know how it's going to go. So it's always figure out a way to make profits and put that into what you're buying. And always key is to put some aside too.
And so do you invest based on, like, Futureverse? I mean, it probably wasn't evident from the very, very beginning with Fluff to Fluffle and all of that, but like Futureverse is now an ecosystem, right? With everything from, Seekers most recently, Gods and Goblins coming, and then kind of Fluff at the beginning, and then everything.
State Machine,
everything in between.
AI.
And then you have, other plays. Looks like Proof Collective and Moonbirds is, taking that similar type of approach. You could probably say that Yuga's doing a little bit of that now. They have Bored Apes and they have CryptoPunks, and they've got this interoperability, and you see World of Woman and all those other NFTs that are part of it. And so there's obviously big ecosystem starting to evolve. Do you invest in the ecosystem, or like what portion of your investment do you look for, solid long play as opposed to, like, do you even get engaged in flipping stuff, or you kind of take it mid to long term? What's your jam?
I do a bit of both. So I do flipping, but now what I've been looking for, it's never been to buy now and then just flip, but I've made sure I've done that. So if I buy into a portfolio and it like doubles my money, then I'll sell half of it because that's taken away. So whatever you hold, it doesn't matter if it goes to zero. And so
get that initial investment.
Get that initial investment. But what I'm really excited about Futureverse, like Fluff World and Seekers and Alter State Machine, is that I really wanted to get into Fluff World because I believe in the next probably 2 to 3 years, there's going to be ecosystems and having NFTs that actually bring residual income. So there'll be certain things that, it can mine certain tokens or have certain utilities. It'll be in gaming, you can play, and you'll get these tokens back and you can sell them. And it's like an ongoing...
It's kind of like rent.
Yeah, basically, it is. It's the virtual world, and people like, in the virtual world, you've got real estate and stuff like that, and if you own a house, you've got to, you have someone that's renting your house and you're trying to get some income, but there's a lot of maintenance you got to do. In the digital world, you don't have to do any of that. And right now, is that if like some people that are older go, no, look, it's just a waste of time. Why waste your money on like the digital space? But if you look at our children, or if you've got young children, or you see these young kids, they're playing Roblox, they're playing Fortnite. Like my son, my wife's like, there's $26 I've been spending on my phone the other day, and it's because a little kid obviously figured out how to buy something extra on Roblox. Like they're already buying like wearables in Fortnite. Has already made over $1.2 billion in wearables just on the avatars, and that doesn't go back to the owners. That all goes to Epic Games, right? So it's Fortnite. So NFTs, you'll be able to collab and you'll be able to create things with your sneakers and stuff, and there'll be digital wearables. You'll have stores, artists can do it, and when you sell them, you'll get a royalty for it. So
take 10 friends, 10 closest friends you have. How many of them are in crypto and NFTs?
10 closest friends. I'd probably say, I don't know, because I feel like, even though I don't know.
You know what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Like, are you out there?
Yeah, no, I'm like, I used to go out there and tell everyone about it to get into it, and then, the bull market happens, the bear market happens, and you feel responsible if they don't do well because they don't know how to do things. But I'd say out of the closest 10 friends, maybe 4 out of 10.
What about you, Pinto?
What's that?
Can I call you Pinto?
Yeah. See, it is.
Of your mates,
yeah.
When you think about your 10 closest, other than me and Monty,
yeah.
How many of them are into NFTs and crypto?
Into? Not
and
many.
Doing it?
Yeah. Not many, but very curious
Yeah.
and want to understand more, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of them.
Now, alpha, secrets.
Well,
What secret have you got? Because every guest has to give a secret.
yeah, okay. Well, I think the secret right now is that be very careful of NFTs. Like the market is very illiquid. So the problem with the NFTs, is that if you're in it right
Good
now,
advice, kids.
it's very dangerous because there's no liquidity. If you need to sell Bitcoin,
That's
Ethereum,
not a secret.
Binance,
Give us a secret.
right?
You must have
Secret.
something in Futureverse.
Yeah, I think
You're-
I think Fluff World, the Futureverse, is something that it's very under the radar now compared to all the other NFTs. And I think if you want to put a good bet on something that's going to do very well, I think Fluff World Futureverse will do well.
And don't sleep on
Maybe-
don't sleep on ASM.
Yeah.
Because every single one of those NFTs is going to have a brain in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say don't sleep on ASM, that means don't miss it.
Yeah, don't miss it. Don't
Now,
miss it.
actually, I'm a bit afraid to ask this question,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask it anyway because
Okay.
who gives a fuck, right? You know, I don't give a fuck, right? Did I just say that? What's one thing that the Futureverse group could do to improve the ecosystem? Because I think we're all in on it, right? Like we're all in, we all love
Yeah.
it. But like, what's one thing that when you look, you'd go, it'd be cool if they could do this?
I think it's just explain it to people that are not into crypto better. There's a lot of things that all over the show that they're building, which is pretty amazing. But I think that will come. I think there's just a lot of devs and people who are in the tech, who are creators behind it, but there's no real marketing person that's done properly. And I think once that hits, and I think that's going to come.
It's been a bit of a thread too recently.
But I think when that happens, and it probably will, they'll figure it out. It's going to do extremely well. So that's why I think that is the alpha, that Fluff World Futureverse is under the radar. So it's a good opportunity to delve into it. But if those NFTs are going to be very valuable.
It's funny, because, you know, on Twitter, I was following Dougal and I'm seeing, and Dougal must be minting quite a lot of bit of art virus thingies, right?
He's been selling them. Yeah, he's been selling them for, I think, about $80 to $100 a time, and he got
But
them
he
free.
keeps on,
Yeah.
kept on doing,
Yeah.
and he keeps on putting
Yeah,
his
he's
art
doing
out.
well.
And I've got one thing, big mistake, I should have bought more,
Yeah.
but hey, I got one. And so I can't sell it now because then I won't have one. And so I got it and I got my piece of art and I was like, the whole experience of going through it and like the excitement at home, I was like, this is cool. But it raises a question for me. I think we should be doing something in real life here in the studio.
Definitely.
And so Brooke hasn't messaged me yet, but I'm sure he'll support.
Yep.
So what do we think we should do? We should do an event in November here. Web 2 come into Web 3.
100%.
What do you think?
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
so it's
I
what
think
the
that'd be
bro said.
awesome.
It's just like, people need that bridge to get across that level of understanding. But like in Futureverse defense, I think that, they're building this whole game-based experience.
Yeah.
And we've just talked about Fortnite and how incredible that is. And intuitively, children have spent billions of dollars on their parents' credit cards buying skins and that type of thing. So I think that their solution to bridging the mainstream is to get to the place where the games are out there. I know AFA All-Stars isn't far away, and we have the Football World Cup and all those types of things. Is kind of really good timing for all of that.
Yeah, and that's why I think the Futureverse is a sleeper for many people.
Totally.
Because it's going to give people an opportunity to actually own something where you can actually create something and then sell it and have ownership. And not only that, but the reason why people love NFTs is because if you own it and it sells and resells, you get a commission. So regardless how many times it sells down the line, you always get a little commission from that. And that's why it's really good for New Zealand artists and whatever, or artists, that we can try and help them, because the world's a very small place. And you might be an artist in New Zealand, but there might be someone in Africa or America or Singapore that like your stuff, and they'll buy it, and you can always get a royalty.
So let's just talk about this event, Pinto, Pat. So what are we going to do? I know you've got a question.
What's the Tongan word for whale? Do you know what is Tongan word for
Oh
whale?
my gosh, I wish I knew that, It's
Can someone Google that? Producer Barty or Luke?
Yeah.
Obviously, like the event is, and speaking from an Indigenous perspective, there's a bunch of us that want to tap into dudes like this not just to, like, not to try and tap into his wallet, like to tap into his knowledge. And that bridge between the people that have been there, done that, know the patterns, and the people that don't know that but have the energy is the bridge that we need to cross. And we need to do that in a really responsible, kind of safe type of way that also makes those people, whether they're project owners or people that are coming into, buy NFTs eventually, flipping don't buy any right now because it's terrible, but it will begin to set a bar and a standard of credibility and experience that makes the space safer for when the market comes back in a year or two or whatever it is.
So is it two events?
No, same event.
Yeah.
Same event, but just like closing the gap. Connecting him who knows to those that don't. I think that's the jam.
The world's a network, and because of the internet, it's such a smaller place now. And so I think the ability to connect people from all over the world with different projects is a lot easier now. And the thing is, if you have a bunch of people here, there'll be collections of different projects, and they all know each other, and you refer and you can help them out. And that's the thing. Success is much better together, and when you can help other people out to achieve something, and that's the goal, right? Like, what's the point in building anything or success if you can't bring in people along with you? Like, there's no one that I know that's extremely successful that hasn't done it without the help of people around them. It's just...
Yeah, but you're reflective on that.
Yeah.
Because actually, I know a lot of really successful people who are fucking assholes.
Yeah, but they're not happy, right? But what's the point? Like, that are they?
Maybe they're happy, but they just don't care.
Yeah, but they might be wealthy.
Maybe they don't care. That could be.
Yeah, but they might be wealthy and rich. But are they successful? Are they happy? If you're not happy, you're not successful. Like,
do you ever have downs?
I used
like you have
to.
ups, right?
Yeah, very, very rarely. And I think because I've been in a place where it's like a concentration camp. It's so bad. And I think once you come out of that, you can focus on the downers, or there's things that I've gone through in life which have been downers, right? But I prefer to always focus on the positive and be around positive, because what's the point?
That's the choice you make.
That's the choice.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's the choice you make for you and your life.
Yeah.
But that's not you can influence others, your wife, your kids, but they're in their bodies.
That's right.
So how do you think about how you help them in their life and lives as they go?
I think it's just support, really. It's all you can do, and it's about communication and understanding. And I think people just want to feel like if they're going through something that they heard. And I think it's quite common for men, for us, is that if someone's going through a hard time, is to just offer a solution. But really, what people need is just to listen and try have an understanding. And I think that's where my fall's been over the years, even with my wife or previous partners, is that because I've always been so happy, it's like, they feel like I don't understand. And so we've had a lot of counselling over the years, so we figured it out. But yeah, I think it's about understanding and
that's also really analogous, just to go back to the idea of this event, to how people participate inside of communities. And some people are active and some people will talk and be highly engaged, but the vast majority of people will sit on the edge and listen and learn and go and do their research and then build the confidence over whatever period of time to participate. So I think it's really cool that if we can create an event that has this energy in the middle, but that has people that are further away, that are maybe still in Web 2, but curious on the periphery, so that they can just sit and watch and listen.
Great.
I think that's going to help them in the first steps of their journey to...
And the other thing that I mentioned with you like last week when we caught up, but a lot of artists, they're creative and they create something and this amazing piece of art, but they don't promote themselves. And it's okay to get them to network and meet with people and like promote your work. Like it's okay. Like they could create something that's amazing, and they believe that the right people will come along and they'll buy it, and they'll fall in love with it. But it's okay to promote your work and network with people, because it's not going to sell if you don't promote it. And I think a lot of Polynesians and stuff not just Polynesians, but mainly a lot of Polynesians, they're quite sort of proud they don't believe in going out and promoting themselves a lot in certain things that they do. They're quite quiet, and they really worry what their family may think, or their parents may think, or their friends may think. And so if someone says something bad about you doing an NFT, don't do that. That art, we don't believe you should be doing that. They'll just go into their shell and they'll do their thing, even though they want to.
Such a big issue.
Surround yourself around positive people that believe in you and something that you can do, and then you'll figure a way to do it.
I think my other reflection on this is, and it's really good advice, is the communities don't have to be that big.
No.
Right? But what I'm also reflecting is that we should not be committing ourselves to one event. We should be committing to a continual series of events that help people observe, learn, be seen, and build their confidence to be able to take some action. And so that's what I'm kind of, I'm excited about is, and it's a very interesting, my journey into NFTs was because someone helped me.
Yeah.
Someone took the time to go.
Jerome?
Yeah, it was Jerome, it was Brooke,
Yeah.
it was Aaron. And I knew, because I'm over 50, I knew I would always sit on the fence until I did something. And so I took action and I bought a fluff.
Live, he did it live.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
And that helped me make that step.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. I should have just bought more.
And as you said, you took the journey. See, you took the journey with what you bought or the artist, and that's the important thing. And if there is an artist that creates something, the people that buy your work want to go on that journey with you. They buy because of who you are or what you're creating. They believe in your creations and what you're making. So it's important if people buy your stuff because they believe in what you're making and they want to go on that journey. So take people on that journey with you.
There's a lot of tension in that though, eh? Especially for an artist.
Yeah.
Because an artist and their art is a very personal, individual expression of their creativity.
Yeah.
And so if in creating that art and then sharing that with the world, that they get back crickets, that's super tough to take, right?
Yeah.
And so there's that part of, which is probably not in the artist/creative's DNA, which is about grinding it out to find the audience for the work.
Yeah.
Which is difficult for them, right? Especially if they've been grinding for a minute and they haven't really had a great response to it because it's so deeply personal. It's like, people don't like me.
Yep, and they get one negative thing and they go back into their shell again and they go, well, it doesn't work. But
it doesn't work.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
And you got to find out as well, what does the artist want? Like, is it about having a small community and like just something they want to share, or is it about monetary? They want to earn money for it, or everyone has a different thing on what they want to create, what they want to make.
Super important insight that you shared just then is, what do you want, right? Because I always think when I work with founders or small business owners, what do you want? Because once I know what you want, I can work out whether I can help you achieve that. But it's actually okay if they don't know.
Yeah.
That's actually the trusted place. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, let's be okay with that and let's just work on that. Now, do you have aspirations and dreams?
Yeah, I think it's funny, but at the moment is to actually have enough like residual income coming back from crypto as well over the years. Because my wife, when we had our first son, she suffered from postnatal depression, right?
Yeah, postpartum.
Yeah, and she got suicidal. And so this thing is when people get pregnant these days, there's a lot of education up to, especially if you're first time mother, there's all this education on when you have a baby leading up to it and what you need to do, but then after that there's nothing.
Yeah.
And the system is pretty broken. And so my wife wants to create a charity eventually is to help those afterwards what to do, because how many people would have been divorced? Me and my wife, like when she went through that, I was trying my best and do the best I can to help her out. And we almost got divorced because I was like, well, where the hell is this all going? And it just made me think as well, wow, how many people have become fatherless and stuff like that because of postnatal depression? Like all these different things, or how many people there that separate with their partners and because of that.
Wow. So you can do stuff like that?
Yeah, it's something. Wife's been writing a book for the last 5 years, but it's something that we want to do. Maybe, yeah, she'll do it. It's her thing, and I just want to be behind it and just support her.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is cool.
It's cool that
I've got the last question,
crypto,
so maybe you can do your question.
It's cool that crypto and NFTs and all that can enable that, right? Because I don't think like people really make that connection, that a human with a purpose like yourself, that sees a meaningful cause, or causes in your instance that you've got behind, that these funny little V friends and your bunnies and your cryptocurrency, that, you know, let's be honest, a huge amount of people who just throw shade at that whole space can be the vehicle to enable a cause like helping women with a postpartum and helping the city mission to actually achieve good and positive impact in the world. You're a great example of when like purpose meets this at this intersection of like the future of tech to do good shit. I just want to shout you out, bro. That's all.
Thanks. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really kind. But that's what people should be doing.
I know,
but everyone's different.
But you're modelling it, and so it's awesome. So I always ask this question to everyone that I interview, and I obviously brought Pat along today because I didn't have, I felt intimidated by interviewing you, but that's cool. What's your advice?
The Tongan whale.
What would you give
whales are peaceful
to the 15-year-old kid that's back at the school in Tonga today?
Good question.
What was the advice?
What would your advice be to your 15-year-old self
okay, interesting.
today? So you go back to Tonga, you find a 15-year-old, and she or he says to you, what's your advice, bro?
My advice is like, surround yourself, right, with really positive people, and it's okay to fail, and you don't always have to make everyone happy. That would be it.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah.
We're gonna have some lunch now.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So, hey, that's everything from Real Talk today. Thanks to Jace. Thanks to Pinto. And catch us on manaki.io. And we've got a few more coming up. Thanks very much.